The year is 1940. The world watches in horror as the Nazi war machine, fueled by a toxic ideology of hate and conquest, cuts a swathe of destruction across Europe. Poland, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium and France all fall in rapid succession, their armies crushed beneath the weight of the German Blitzkrieg. This new form of warfare, characterized by speed, surprise and overwhelming force, seems unstoppable. The Nazi grip on Europe tightens. From the English Channel to the gates of Moscow, the swastika flies, a symbol of terror and oppression. Millions find themselves living under the brutal reality of Nazi occupation, their freedoms extinguished, their futures uncertain. The very heart of Western civilization seems poised on the brink of collapse, yet even in this darkest hour, a flicker of defiance remains. Across the English Channel, a small island nation stands alone, refusing to bow to the Nazi threat. Great Britain, led by the indomitable Winston Churchill, becomes a beacon of hope, a symbol of resistance against the seemingly invincible Nazi war machine. The fate of the world, the survival of freedom itself, hangs precariously in the balance. By the summer of 1940, the situation for Great Britain appeared dire, with the shadow of war looming ever larger. With the fall of France, Hitler's army stood poised across the English Channel, ready to deliver what they believed would be the final blow to British resistance. Most of continental Europe lay under Nazi occupation, its resources and industries harnessed to the German war effort, fueling the relentless advance of the Third Reich. Yet, despite the overwhelming odds and the constant threat of invasion, the British people refused to surrender, embodying a spirit of defiance and resilience. Inspired by Churchill's defiant words, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender," these words echoed through the hearts of the nation. They prepared for a German invasion with unwavering resolve. The evacuation of Dunkirk, though a military retreat, had bolstered British morale and showcased the indomitable spirit of the Allied forces. The evacuation, a testament to courage and improvisation, saw over 300,000 Allied soldiers rescued from the beaches of France under constant Luftwaffe bombardment, a feat that seemed almost miraculous. This heroic effort, though a retreat, would become a powerful symbol of British resilience and unity in the face of adversity. The British people, from factory workers to airmen, from nurses to codebreakers, each played a crucial role in the war effort. They rallied to the defense of their island nation, determined to resist Nazi tyranny at any cost, united in their common cause. The stage was set for one of the most pivotal battles in human history, the Battle of Britain, a clash that would determine the fate of the free world. The fate of Britain, and indeed the free world, hung in the balance in the skies above England during the summer and fall of 1940. This period was a critical juncture in the Second World War, where the outcome of the conflict was uncertain and the stakes were incredibly high. The Luftwaffe, the once feared German Air Force, was tasked with crippling the Royal Air Force and paving the way for a German invasion. Their mission was clear: to gain air superiority and break the spirit of the British people. Day and night, waves of German bombers, escorted by agile Messerschmitt fighters, pounded British airfields, radar installations, and cities. The relentless attacks aimed to destroy Britain's ability to defend itself and to terrorize its civilian population. Against seemingly insurmountable odds, the young pilots of the RAF, many in their late teens and early 20s, took to the skies to defend their homeland. These brave men, often referred to as the few, displayed extraordinary courage and resilience. Flying iconic aircraft like the Spitfire and Hurricane, they engaged in fierce dogfights with their German adversaries. These aircraft, known for their speed and maneuverability, became symbols of British resistance. The skies above southern England became a swelling aerial battlefield. The outcome of these battles would determine the future of Britain and the free world. Though outnumbered, the RAF had several advantages. Their determination and innovative tactics played a crucial role in their defense. They possessed a sophisticated radar system, which gave them early warning of incoming German raids. This technological edge allowed them to effectively coordinate their defenses and intercept enemy aircraft. Furthermore, British aircraft production, aided by American supplies, was able to replace losses more effectively than the Germans. The support from allies was vital in sustaining the British war effort. By October 1940, with the RAF inflicting heavy losses on the Luftwaffe, Hitler was forced to postpone his invasion plans indefinitely. The resilience and tenacity of the British forces had thwarted the German advance. The Battle of Britain, a testament to the courage and determination of the British people, marked Hitler's first major defeat and a crucial turning point in the war. It was a victory that ensured the survival of Britain and laid the groundwork for the eventual Allied triumph. Despite his failure to subdue Britain, Hitler remained convinced of German dominance in Europe. He believed that the key to ultimate victory lay in conquering the vast territories of the Soviet Union to the east. This decision, driven by a toxic mix of ideology and ambition, would prove to be one of the most catastrophic miscalculations in history. In August 1939, Hitler had shocked the world by signing a non-aggression pact with his ideological nemesis, Joseph Stalin. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, as it was known, divided Eastern Europe between the two totalitarian powers and bought Hitler time to consolidate his gains in the West. However, the pact was merely a tactical maneuver, a cynical ploy to buy time. Hitler always intended to betray Stalin and seize the resources and living space he believed Germany needed. On June 22, 1941, Hitler unleashed Operation Barbarossa, the largest military invasion in human history. Over 3 million German soldiers, along with troops from Italy, Romania, Hungary, and Finland, stormed across the Soviet border. The invasion, launched with characteristic Nazi brutality and disregard for human life, caught Stalin completely by surprise. Initially, the German invasion of the Soviet Union met with stunning success, catching the Soviet forces completely off guard. The Red Army, still reeling from Stalin's purges and armed with outdated equipment, was caught off guard and suffered massive losses. The Soviet military was unprepared for the speed and ferocity of the German Blitzkrieg. German forces advanced rapidly, capturing vast swathes of Soviet territory and inflicting millions of casualties. The sheer scale of the invasion was unprecedented, stretching from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea. The invasion, however, was marked by unspeakable brutality. Entire towns and villages were razed to the ground, and civilians were caught in the crossfire. Hitler, obsessed with his twisted racial ideologies, envisioned a war of annihilation against the Soviet people. He saw the Slavs as subhuman and sought to exterminate them. Millions of Soviet civilians, particularly Jews, were murdered in cold blood by the Einsatzgruppen, mobile killing squads that followed in the wake of the German army. These atrocities were part of the larger Holocaust. Yet despite the initial setbacks, the Soviet people refused to be defeated. They organized themselves into partisan groups and continued to resist the invaders. Inspired by patriotic fervor and the leadership of Stalin, who finally seemed to grasp the gravity of the situation, they mounted a ferocious resistance. Stalin's speeches rallied the nation to defend their motherland. The vast distances of the Soviet Union, which had aided Napoleon's downfall a century earlier, now worked against the invaders. The sheer size of the country made it difficult for the Germans to maintain their supply lines. As the bitter Russian winter set in, the German advance faltered. The harsh weather conditions were unlike anything the German soldiers had ever experienced. Poorly equipped for the harsh conditions, German troops suffered terribly from frostbite and supply shortages. Their summer uniforms were no match for the freezing temperatures. The Red Army, used to fighting in such conditions, launched a series of counter-offensives, driving the Germans back from Moscow in a stunning reversal of fortune. The Soviet resilience began to show. The myth of German invincibility had been shattered. The once unstoppable Wehrmacht was now in retreat. The tide of the war was beginning to turn. The Soviet Union had not only survived the initial onslaught but was now poised to push back against the invaders.